very unfortunately, because of the increase in violence at ICE, when we have families with children, we have to give every girl a pregnancy test over 10.
Were you aware that the zero-tolerance policy would lead to minors being separated from their parents, yes or no?
As we increase consequences for those who break the law, just as everywhere.
Look, I have such limited time, Madam Secretary. Okay. I'm sure you can appreciate that.
As a consequence for a parent going to jail, we in this country do not take the children to jail. The number of unaccompanied children is part of the humanitarian crisis. These are children whose parents decided to send them alone on a very, very dangerous journey at the hands of, most often, smugglers and coyotes or traffickers into the United States. What we hear from the Northern Triangle governments, they have said this publicly, I am sure that they will tell you when you visit them, is they want their children back. Our laws uniquely allow us to send Mexican children back home after they have gone through a process and do not have a legal right to stay. But under the law, we cannot send children from other countries back, except for Mexico and Canada. So the Northern Triangle governments have said to us, they will say to you, please send us our children back. We want them reunited with our families and communities here. We don't want the smugglers to be able to convince parents to send their children on this perilous journey where they are absolutely victims of violence and abused. As you know, sir, very unfortunately, because of the increase in violence at ICE, when we have families with children, we have to give every girl a pregnancy test over 10. This is not a safe journey. So I ask again that we change the law, we treat all children the same, and we afford them the opportunity to go back home if they have no legal right to be in the United States. The other part of this that I think we need to do is we need to find a way to be able to keep families together. Families need to be able to be kept together, go through the process. If they have a legal right to stay, we will welcome them here. If they don't have a legal right to stay, the most humanitarian thing to do is to remove them efficiently and effectively. Both of those changes we need from Congress.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I see my time has expired.
Thank you very much. Chair now recognizes the gentlelady from New York, Ms. Rice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, I just want to ask you to qualify a question that was asked before. Can you confirm that there has never been a parent deported under your tenure without finding out if they want their children to go with them? Simply yes or no. Can you confirm that?
To the best of my knowledge, every parent was afforded that option.
Okay. Secretary Nielsen, on June 17th of 2018, you tweeted, "We do not have a policy of separating families at the border, period." Then Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced the Justice Department's zero-tolerance policy to prosecute all individuals who cross the border outside of ports of entry, and he made that announcement on April 6th of 2018. In a memo to you dated April 23rd regarding the Justice Department's zero-tolerance policy, CBP Commissioner Kevin McAleenan, USCIS Director Francis Cisna, and then ICE Acting Director Thomas Homan stated DHS could also permissibly direct the separation of parents or legal guardians and minors held in immigration detention so that the parent or legal guardian can be prosecuted pursuant to these authorities. Did you read that memo, yes or no?
Yes.
Did you concur with this assessment made by your component agency leaders, yes or no?
Is there many assessments in there? I concurred with their recommendation on what to do to increase consequences for those crossing the border illegally.
The piece that I just read, do you concur with that?
I'm sorry, could you read that particular?
DHS could also permissibly direct the separation of parents or legal guardians and minors held in immigration detention so that the parent or legal guardian can be prosecuted pursuant to these authorities. That specific statement.
As I understand it, we have the legal authority to do that, yes.
Did you agree with that?
What I agreed to do is to...
No, did you agree with that?
But that wasn't
assessment that they made.
That wasn't a recommendation, ma'am. It's a legal statement. We do have the legal authority to do it as I understand it.
Were you aware that the zero-tolerance policy would lead to minors being separated from their parents, yes or no?
As we increase consequences for those who break the law, just as everywhere...
Look, I have such limited time, Madam Secretary. Okay. I'm sure you can appreciate that.
As a consequence for a parent going to jail, we in this country do not take the children to jail.